Hello everyone. I hope you all are doing really good. And today we are going to discuss all PYQ that has happened before, right? And all the question at least will be we should cover at least 50 question, and in that, and we are going to uh, solve as it comes in exam. So like time is also there, and also it will be like in question format. You have to write in the chat box which answer is correct, and I'm going to ask question and then explain meanwhile you answer, and then we'll see the answer and also we'll see the explanation of it also. So make sure that you answer every single question whatever is in your screen. So first of all, welcome everyone, and shall we begin? First of all, let me tell you a couple of things that we have been discussing for the uh, last week we discussed all about teaching aptitude, starting from the definition, then the models, then the levels, and also we discussed different kind of assessment, evaluation, traditional and also modern support system, environment, all these things we discussed also theory and so many things in last 4 or 5 classes. And if you haven't attended, it's okay. Maybe you know about this unit. What you can do today, you just have to answer the question and just re-evaluate that what have you learned before. So through these questions it will definitely bring out the best in you, and whatever is there, just answer the question and relax. So I hope you will enjoy this session. So shall we begin? So in exam you get questions like that, right? You also get something like this, all the question whichever you want to mark you can also mark for the next. So these kind of mock tests are available if you want to join. So Priya has joined, and we are waiting for more people. So everybody should come quickly. You would not want to miss this session. It's very important. So like Priya has attended all the session in teaching aptitude, so I hope she will be able to answer many of the questions. So let's begin. The first question is in your screen. Is there is 2 statement, you have to find which one is correct. If both are correct, you can also mark. If none of them are correct, you can also mark that. So the first question is in your screen. The question is learner centered approach. We have already discussed about learner centered, teacher centered, right? So you might not find any difficulty answering these type of question if it is related to learner center or teacher center. So first of all, first statement says learner centered approach is centered on teachers need. What do you think? Teachers need? How it can be, right? And the learner centered approach is centered on cooperative determination of the subject. So if you know the answer, write in the chat box quickly. So again, now let me explain. Meanwhile you answer in chat box, I'm going to little bit explain about these things. So learner center means it is personalized learning. It is based on the learner's need, not teacher's need, right? So I hope you got the clue and you can answer that question easily now. So learner centered is all based on student needs. Like I told you, like Priya wants to wants a course like in this course, sir, I want a mock test, also I want PYQ, and I want videos and also notes and PDF, all these things I need. So what will teacher do? He will or she will create a course according to Priya or the learner or the student. So in that way, teacher need is definitely not there. So our first statement is definitely incorrect, right? And the second statement says learner centered approach is centered on cooperative determination of the subject matter, and that is could be or it is true. I'm not going to answer, I'll just explain it a little bit, that the learner centered approach is centered on what? Cooperative determination of subject matter. Why? Because learner centered approach is the subject matter is not solely determined by the teacher, but both, the agreement of both teacher and a student. So it is co-determined through collaboration between the teacher or the student or the learners. Got it? So the learners have an active role in shaping the learning objectives, content and activities based on their interests. Whose interests? Students and learners, and their experience and goals, and this collaborative determination of the subject matter ensure that it is relevant, meaningful, engaging for the learner. So got it? So suppose like Priya has asked, sir, I want this in my course. So teacher will cooperate with her and create course like that. But sometime teacher doesn't have that thing, and they will just, to learn more, teacher will suggest you should also apply this. So it's kind of cooperative determination. Got it? So I hope this question you must have, I guess you must have answered correctly now that I explained. So write in the comment box Q1 clear quickly. So we'll move to the next question and see what is there. Got it? So statement 1 is incorrect, and the statement will just move to the second question. We'll just mark here, or I'll just do one thing. You need to also know the answer, right? Quickly. So I'll just have to do one setting. Just give me 2 minutes. I'll just set it up, because here answer is not showing. It will only show when we submit the question paper, like the exam, right? But I'll have to do one simple setting. For that I might need 2 minutes, and for that please excuse me, okay? Settings. Yes. Okay. Now it's ready. Now we'll know the answer immediately. Let's go once again and see if it works. We answered what? Statement 1, yes, it says right, green color, it's correct. And now question number 2. Which of the following is a technique to provide right kind of support in right amount at right time to increase child competency? So through that, what do you think? Write in the chat box quickly. It is asking about the technique. Which technique, okay, is to provide right kind of supports in right amount at right time to increase child's competence. So tell me which can be. Is it assistant? Should teacher assist to right kind of support, or accommodation, or scheme, or scaffolding? So I'll just explain little bit about each option and you have to answer. So scaffolding is a technique used in education to provide appropriate support to learners in order to help them build their skills and knowledge. It involves the teacher or a more knowledgeable peer, anyone, basically teacher, who structures, give guidance and assistance to the learners as they engage in task or learning activity. The support is tailored to the learner's specific need and is gradually withdrawn as the learners become more competent and independent. So a couple of things happens. So remember that scaffolding and accommodation, because these two questions they have asked in one shift. They ask about scaffolding and second was accommodation. So as I explained about scaffolding, is it the answer scaffolding? Let me see who have answered that. Priya has answered 3. Is it accommodation or scaffolding? So we'll just move what Priya says, 3, which is incorrect. Scaffolding is correct. Okay. And question number 3 is in your screen. So shall I explain more about scaffolding? Write in the chat box yes. So let me tell you a little bit, couple of more things about scaffolding. So scaffolding is like you have some task, and you break down it into smaller pieces and providing clear instruction and explanation and examples. So through that what happens, children or students increase their competence, right? Through that, offering prompt and cues to guide the learner's thinking, modeling the desired behavior or problem solving strategies, and offering feedback and corrective guidance. And I'm not talking about I won't tell you about accommodation, because next question it will be about accommodation. Correct? So the answer is scaffolding. The next one is just simple. We have discussed this right in our class, and the question is in your screen. Swayam Prabha is an education learning platform initiated by, this is D not 0, DTH channels. So actually it is asking who initiated that. Is it Ministry of Education or University Grant Commission or CEC or AICTE? Write in the chat box quickly. We'll also just we'll explain about that also. Swayam Prabha. Okay, so write in the chat box. Great. Priya says it's one Ministry of Human Resource and Development. I want more participation right now. Whoever is there, please make your presence by answering any of these questions. Great. So we'll just little bit talk about what is Swayam Prabha. As we know, Swayam Prabha is initiated by what? Ministry of Human Resource and Development, which is now known as Ministry of Education in India. So it was launched to provide high quality educational content to learners across the country. So remember that it is DTH based, and how many channels are there? In the beginning it was 32, but right now it seems it's 34, right? But we'll just go, if the answer comes like that, if they're asking about DTH channels, I think we should answer 32, right? And these contents are variety of subject. It could be humanities, science, commerce, social science, engineering, technology, and many more. And as we know that Swam Prabha's main goal is to improve education, and that the education should, because as in India internet is not that strong in many of the rural areas, so that's why we have the DTH channel, and there we have programs based on that. There are so many courses related to it. So Swam Prabha is launched by Ministry of Education, so it's the correct answer, right? Question number 4 is in your screen. Again, I told you that we are going to face the same question related to accommodation, assimilation, adaptation, equilibration, and I'll discuss all of this also. But first of all, you have to answer the question that is in your screen. So a learner combines his previous scheme. Okay, so it's like he's applying his experience or whatever he has learned to increase per new experience or modify them as new experience. So the process of combining, remember the keyword, combining, modifying and existing schemas or schemes, and to arrive at new scheme is known as what? Now we have to find. If you know the answer, write in the chat box quickly, and we'll just discuss a little bit all about these points. So meanwhile you answer, what I'm going to do, I'll just explain all these 4 options one by one. So first of all, accommodation is what? It's simple, it's like learners like blank, whatever is there, he fills that with the whatever he has, and then he experiences the new experience. So simply, if you say in a word, it's like it's kind of process where a learner combines or modify their existing schemas to incorporate a new experience or information. It involves what? Adjusting one's cognitive structure to fit new situations or understanding. So it's like when new information do not fit or into existing schemas, what he does, he just accommodates whatever he has known before, right? So accommodation occurs when to create new schemas or modify existing ones to accommodate the new information. Got it? And the second option, we have the assimilation. And what is assimilation? Assimilation is simply what? It incorporate new information or experience into existing schema without significant modification. So he doesn't make any, he just learn from that. Okay, so it involves like fitting new information into existing cognitive structure. Again, this next is adaptation. And adaptation is what? It is a broader term that encompasses both accommodation and assimilation. So it combines both. It refers like the process of adjusting and modifying cognitive structure in response to new experience and information. And at the end we have equilibration, and which is that we have learned, right, about John Piaget. So there is the process by which individuals strive for balance between assimilation, accommodation. So it involves actively seeking a state of cognitive or balance between existing schemes and new information or the experience. So let's see what you guys have answered. Everybody has answered. Whoever was there is accommodation. So the answer is accommodation, and which is correct. Great. So question number 5 is in your screen, and that should be easy for you. So simple, which of the following curriculum development model come under technical scientific model? So if you know the answer, you can just write it. It will be like for you a little bit confusing because there are different new option that I think we didn't study in the class. We studied about open classroom, but these things I think we didn't study. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to explain each one of it, and you have to answer whatever I have explained. So Adi says 2, Taba's model, and let's see if she is correct. But anyway, before that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to explain all the points. So I'll just explain with open class model first, and it is not specifically associated with the technical scientific model. It is an educational approach that promotes learner-centered or flexible and experience learning. So where a student have more freedom and responsibility for their own learning or education. Alright, and we'll just move to the second, which is like it is Taba's model of curriculum development falls under the technical scientific model. So this model, what it does, it emphasizes a systematic and structured approach to curriculum development. So it is related to curriculum, syllabus, or whatever the program is. So it draws upon research and scientific principle. In simpler word, I would say that Taba's model consists of several stages, starting with diagnosis of need, formulation of objective, selection of content, and organization of content. And it is important to analyze learners' needs and interests, establishing clear objective, and designing appropriate learning experience to achieve those objectives. And we have again this one, Weinstein and Fantini model, and it is known as integrative model. So through the name, it is not typically associated with technical scientific model. Actually, it focuses on integrating language and culture in second language acquisition. Rogers model, it seems like anyway, again, last one is Rogers model of interpersonal relation. So it is not scientific but humanistic model. So it emphasizes the importance of the teacher-learner or teacher-students relationship, empathy, and creating a positive and supportive learning environment. I hope you got the first 5 questions right, and I see in the response like most of the answers are correct here. And question number 6 is in your screen. Quickly write the answer in the chat box. The question says, which of the following statements best describes the brainstorming teaching method? That we have discussed in our previous class, right? And when it comes to brainstorming, you should remember one thing. What? Meanwhile, you answer in the chat box, I'll explain about brainstorming. So brainstorming is like in a class, if teacher asks about one thing, okay, I'm giving you about this topic and tell me, whatever the words come in your mind, just tell quickly. So new ideas comes, right? New ideas comes. So write quickly. Great. I got one answer and says 1, right? And I'll just explain a little bit about brainstorming. Like brainstorming is a kind of technique that used to generate creative and innovative ideas through group discussion and collaboration, right? So in this method, what do students or participants or learners, or even it can be your peers or whoever, right? So encouraged by freely express their ideas, suggestions without any criticism or judgment. So the focus is on quantity rather than quality at the initial stage of the idea generation or the production of large number of ideas. So the simple, we should know the purpose or the goal of brainstorming is simple: to generate a large pool of ideas, allowing participants to think outside the box and explore various possibilities. So the emphasis is on encouraging creativity, originality, and diverse perspective. Once the ideas are generated, they can be evaluated and refined further in the next step, right? So the first thing is what? The production of a large number of ideas. So I already got the answer, and we'll just mark. And yes, it's correct. So everybody is going really well. You guys are answering everything correct right now, or maybe because of the explanation, or because of the class that we took, or maybe you know the answer. Okay, so question number 7 is in your screen. Which of the following are the main characteristics of learner-centered approach? Again, we are talking about learner-centered. Remember one keyword that we talked about: personalized learning. So here are the 4 statements, and here it says that we have to find which one are the correct, right? So answer quickly in the chat box. Is it A, B and D, or A and C, or B and D and B and C? Write in the chat box quickly. Meanwhile, I'll just explain what is learner center one more time. So as I said in the beginning, learner center is what? Based on learners or students' need. And the second point we also talked about, that it was cooperative determination of subject matter, right? And again, one point is here, teachers' need, that we in the statement type question know that it is not teachers' need, it is students' need, right? It lays emphasis on variability of exposure. So it tell me what is, and first one is a rigid curriculum. Rigid curriculum is like defined by a teacher or any, but it is not like that. It is actually by students' need. So simple. Why B is there? Because as I told you, it is collaborative. So involving learners in the determination of the subject matter. It emphasized collaboration, participation and engagement. Again, with who? With teacher, and learners are encouraged to contribute their ideas, interest and perspective, which helps in shaping the curriculum and learning experience. And why D is the right answer? Could be the right, is that a learner-centered approach recognize and accommodate the individual differences, because as I told you, like Priya has different kind of need and she can only learn through all these things. So teacher create a course or a class according to her needs, according to the learner's needs. So it emphasizes providing varied and flexible learning experiences to cater the diverse needs and performance of the learner. Alright. And why a rigid curriculum is not there, as I explained, because a learner-centered approach emphasizes flexibility and adaptability. It is not fixed. Okay, so So it is like to all these curriculum, and it is based on the individual needs, so it is not rigid. Okay, so or you can just simply fixed curriculum. It is not fixed, it is flexible. And why C is not also there? It mainly center a teacher needs, because as I told you, it is based on students. I hope you got the answer. Shall we move to the question number 3? So I see who has answered B and T. Okay, and that is correct. If we have question number 8, again they are talking about Swam Prabha are uplinked with Bisaj. I mean, they're asking where. So it was easy option, right? Everybody knows. I don't have to explain. If you want me to explain, you can just tell me, chat in the box. Write in the chat box, explain about again Swam Prabha. I already told you, you don't need that. But simple, I'll just tell you the location only after you answer. So I'll just give you a simple clue that it is in Gujarat, right? And it is again initiated by who? MHRD. And again it has how many channel? 32 channels, right? So you have to answer quickly. So I got, come on, don't let me wait. Okay, I'll just move. It is Gandhinagar. Okay, so that's the correct answer. Great. Again, the next question is on your screen. They are talking about what? Technological, pedagogical content knowledge. And that is important term. We have seen this question twice in previous year in both shift. So TPAC is quite important now that you have to know. So question number 9, write someone in the chat box the correct answer, and then we'll move to the explanation. So meanwhile you answer, again I'm going to explain about TPAC. And the statement second is TPAC framework comprises of total 6 components. Okay, so here the answer is that you have to tell. I'll just explain, like TPAC is a framework and developed by Mishra and Kohler in 2006. So through that you got the right answer, right? So TPAC is a framework that highlights the knowledge and understanding required by teacher to effectively integrate technology into the pedagogy while addressing the content that they teach. Right? And the TPAC framework does not consist of what? 6 components. It actually consists 3 main components, and it has technological knowledge, which is TK, and pedagogical knowledge, which is PK, and content knowledge, that is CK. So TPAC. Alright, so these 3 knowledge domain intersect to form various combinations such as technological pedagogical knowledge, or technological content knowledge, or pedagogical context knowledge. And of course one more, technological pedagogical content knowledge. This is the full form. So the answer is, I see in the chat box, great, people are saying that it's C. Statement 1 is correct, but statement 2 is incorrect. And that is what? Statement 1 is correct, but statement 2 is incorrect. So that is our correct answer, but both the statements are incorrect. Here it says maybe there's something wrong, but the answer is this: statement 1 is correct, but the statement 2 is incorrect. Okay, so we'll just move to the question number 10. Which of the following statement, I'll just mark this so I can explain edit it later. So through that, these kind of mock tests are very important because it prepares you for the exam. And one of the most important thing regarding this mock test is that it is completely, it's like the net. It's like it'll give you the experience, it'll give you the taste what's going to happen in the exam hall. It's the same thing, you can also mark as flag and all, like here, there you flag, right? And here what you do, just mark it here, that you can come back and answer it once again. So question number 10 is in your screen, and it is talking about summative evaluation. I hope I have explained this really in our previous class, and I guess you should not find any difficulty answering this. So quickly write in the chat box which is the correct answer. You can just write 1 2 3. These are 1 2 3 4. You don't have to write A B C D and all. You just write 1 2 3 4. So write in the chat box quickly. And again, to remind you, these all mock tests are available where? In your Google Classroom. You can just go and enjoy and experience the mock test. So anyway, come on, write in the chat box what is the answer. Okay, so meanwhile I'll just explain. I'm already getting the answer. So I'll just simply explain about summative and formative. Okay, so I'll just explain with formative. So formative is something that happens in the classroom. It can be your quiz, it can be your essay, or it can be oral, or it can be your homework too. So these, whatever is happening, in the classroom during the class, it can be your formative kind of exam. And one more is summative, right? Summative, what happens when it is the end when the exam happens at the end of your academic year, or it can be like 10th board, 12th board. All these things are what? Summative. So these are summative, and through that you can explain, is it the learner's motivation is raised by the teacher through a question answer session during feedback? It is happening during the class, we can just simply ignore that. It is not the right. So during interaction with the student in the classroom, the teacher provide feedback. Do you think it is? We'll just remove. No, it is happening through the class, in the class, right? A teacher's award grades to the student after having transcended the coursework. Coursework can be at the end of the course, or also in board exam and all. It could be your answer. Write in the chat box which one do you think is the correct. The teacher clarifies the student doubts in classes. So all 1, 2 and this one, the fourth one, are about what? Formative assessment or evaluation. The third one is they are talking about summative. The simple answer is your teacher. That is great. We can just move quickly to the question number 11. In a learner, again learner center. So it seems like they are obsessed with the learner center, teacher center and all these things. So in a learner center teaching environment, teachers, what they do? Again, the options are in your screen. Options are in your screen. You have to answer quickly, or what I'll do, I'll just explain meanwhile. Again, learner center. Do you want me to explain? I don't think so. You need any explanation, but based on that, I will explain now. So again, learner center is what? Personalized learning according to the student's need, not the teacher's need. Blah blah blah. All these things are about learner teaching. Learner-centered teaching. So recognize that all learners are unique, utilize different teaching style. So make decision about how and what learners will learn. Is it like that? Or do not facilitate the learner's decision making process, or do not provide a structure and direction, or recognize that all learners are unique and utilize different teaching style. So again, it is for learners or students need. Okay, so the curriculum or the teaching styles are based on students need. So the answer is simple. Just I must have got the answer already 4, and which is the correct answer. Great. Question number 12. So HT Bombay X is a non-profit MOOC platform developed by HT Bombay using the open source platform what? Joomla, Sakari, Drupal and OpenEdX. So there is one software OpenEdX, and there we can create course. Even you can create course. It's not like only the like colleges and schools can create the course, but you can also, and it is a non-profit open education acts. So tell me, which one do you think? Is it Sakai, Drupal, Joomla? And I got already the answer. But before that, what we do, we just explain little bit about it. So सबसे पहले you have to tell me what is MOOC. MOOC is a massive open online course. So this non-profit MOOC developed by Bombay, HT Bombay, and it utilized the open source platform called, the answer that I got, which was OpenEdX, and it is correct. And OpenEdX is a widely used platform for creating, delivering online courses, providing a flexible and scalable infrastructure for hosting and managing education content. So simple. I told you, we have also one course in OpenEdX. If you go there, you just search Nerd School and you will find one free course is there. I mean, it's not a big one, it's very small, but you don't have to wonder. I'm just telling you that anyone create an online course for free where in OpenEdX. Got it? So here again we are having the match the following. Quickly you have to answer. I hope you can see all the options here. The last one is not visible. For that, let me hide this. Okay, anyway, I'll just do it from the next class. Anyway, question number 13 is in your screen. One is about child development and the second is about the feature. You have to find the correct combination. So child development, first it is about click, crowds, identity, moratorium. I'll just give you some time to read it and answer it carefully. Meanwhile, I'll just explain what all these mean, right? So anyway, I'll just let you answer this. I'll just give you 1 minute, and in 1 minute I'll just, okay, 1 minute is on. You can just answer quickly. I'm just looking OpenEdX. So one more thing, whoever is new here in this class, you can just subscribe the channel. You will get these kind of classes. Anyway, one class will be free every day, but again, if you want an intensive preparation, you only have to do what? Just go to the description box and enroll right away. So before that, anyway, you answer this question. Already 45 minutes. I was thinking to finish 50 question today, and I guess it won't be possible. But anyway, we'll just finish 20 and the rest we'll do tomorrow. Okay. We can go quickly if you want only question, but you won't learn anything, right? You have to learn whatever we are discussing, every single question. And definitely one or two from teaching, even 3 question comes from this mock test. It's like a win situation, right? So answer this in the chat box quickly. Meanwhile, I'll just explain about these. So first is clique is what? So it refers to relatively small friendship based group. Okay. And when like children or students are there in adolescence, what they do, they individually form some kind of a small group, right? They form clique and cliques, which are tight-knit social group consisting of close friends who share common interests and spend a significant amount of time together, and also they learn or whatever they do, we don't know, right? So they form a close relationship together. What? The close friends. So that is kind of a small group. And crowds, we know what is it, everybody know that it is like they in a crowds represent less intimate. You are not close to the crowds, right? So more loosely, like it can be organized groups, and crowds can be larger in different social group, not only one, but can be, and that consists of individual who share similar characteristic or interest but may now not have closer relationship, right? Close personal relationship. Do you have any closer relationship with the crowd, 100 of people? No, right? So the crowd. So these groups provide a sense of identity, belonging in a broader social context. Got it? And identity is simple, that it is in general sense of oneself along with all their belief, like what makes me that person, what makes you you. So you could be made out of beliefs or emotion, you have attitude. So these defines your identity. Like Priya is like very angry, she has personality, or she's very kind. You judge, right? You create with these emotions, beliefs and all. So identity development is a crucial aspect of adolescence, and as individual explores and define their sense of self, including their values, goals, and of course their personal identity. Got it? And at the end, which was little bit confusing term for you, moratorium. And moratorium is simply what? With the delay in commitment to personal and occupational choices. So during this stage, what happens? Individual, or maybe you or me, actively engage in exploring various options and possibility. So before making any life changing decision, right? Any significant life decision. So we do all the research and we'll do, and then we decide. We just don't decide immediately. So it is a period of exploration where an experimentation before committing to a specific path or rules. So suppose some students are like very confused, like what they should do. They should become doctor, or they should become engineer or mechanic or whoever they want, but they are confused, right? So they do all the research to do that, and then they take very carefully that decision that comes to moratorium. So we'll just move to the answer. What? Through that less intimate, more loosely organized crowd. So simple, less intimate we are with who? Crowds, right? And the second says the general sense of oneself along with all their beliefs, emotions and attitudes. Simple, it is about identity. An exploration with a delay in commitment to a personal and occupational choice, that is moratorium. And relatively small friendship based group, and that is cliques. So I hope the question is clear. Write in the chat box 13 clear. So we'll just move to question number 14. So the answer is third, yes. A4, B1 crowd, C2 general sense of oneself, their belief, and moratorium, which is D. Moratorium 3, exploration with a delay in commitment. So that is our answer. Question number 14 is in your screen. Again, it's about two statement and you have to answer. So statement 1 says, if the length of psychological test is increased, if psychological test is increased, it improves both reliability and validity. Is it? Or a score of a test can be interpreted without referring to its norm. So this is a little bit biased, option 1. So even if you say that this statement is incorrect or correct, you're not wrong. In some way this is incorrect and in some way it is correct. Okay, and I'll explain why. But but UGC said that I won't answer right now anyway, unless you give me the answer. But anyway, meanwhile, what I'm going to do, I'm going to explain the thing about psychological test. What is it? So simple, like when a psychological test happens, it improves both reliability and validity. However, this statement can be, of course, if you just test the psychological about his nature, or if you ask psychological questions about it, you will know about the person more, right? So it improves the reliability and validity. But sometime what happens, sometime also it could happen that this statement can be incorrect, because increasing the length of a test does not automatically guarantee improvement in reliability, but the reliability and validity of a test determined by various factors such as test construction, standardization and psychometric properties, or rather than simply the length of the test. Okay, so this is correct, of course, but can also be incorrect. But you have to answer correct. I mean, this is statement. And the second one is says a score of test can be interpreted without referring to its norm. So statement second actually states that the score of a test can be interpreted without referring to its norm, and this statement is also incorrect, because this statement is correct. First one is, this statement is incorrect. The first one is correct, because the interpretation of a test score often requires reference to norm, which provide a comparison to the performance of relevant group of individual. So norm help in determining the relative standing or performance level of an individual compared to the other. So through norm, what happens through norm is not like the score can affect the other, or others' scores can affect yours. So you remember that norm reference based assessment, right? Where what happens when you score high, or when somebody scores high, it will affect in your score too, because they'll create like percentile, cutoff and these things, right? So this is about norm reference. So the answer is what? statement 1. Let me see what you have answered first, and then I'll move to the answer. Grade 3. Statement 1 is correct and the statement 2 is incorrect. Here says it both. Sorry, I guess I haven't put answer here. I'll just mark it and do it. Okay, so statement 1 is correct, but statement 2 is incorrect. That is the answer. Again, question number 15, Kohlberg theory of moral development. So that theory we have to add in our notes. But here, again, Kohlberg theory of moral development comprises of following stages. So there are 5 stages and you have to find the appropriate answer. All the options are there, but you have to find the correct sequence of it, when it occurs and what happens. So anyway, just write answer in the chat box. What do you think? Meanwhile, I'll just explain about it. Okay, so the stage is focused on avoiding punishment and obedience to authority, which is obedience orientation, and rewards exchange. When obedience happens, what happens? Rewards exchange and orientation. At this stage, individuals follow rules and make moral decisions based on self-interest and the expectations of rewards. So law and order orientation happen in this stage. What happen? Individual conform to social norms, uphold the rule and laws of society. At social contract orientation, what happen? Individual recognize that moral rules are not absolute and can be modified through mutual agreement, and they consider the larger societal context and principle of justice. And at the end, we have intellectual disability orientation. This option is not part of Kohlberg stage of moral development. So the answer is A, C, D, E. Okay, A, C, D, E. So that is our answer. Simple. Which one doesn't include? It doesn't include intellectual disability orientation. So in his stage, the correct order, as I told you, was that, and which doesn't include intellectual disability. All are, you can write it in any order. Okay, so obedience orientation, rewards exchange, law and order orientation, social and contract orientation. And I see the answer, people said A, C, D and E. So that is of course correct answer. Question number 16 is in your screen. Again, it's talking about Swayam Prabha. Here they are asking 34 channel, and actually the answer is 32, right? But these days it's true that it has now increased to 34. So this answer is also true. And statement second, about they are talking about who? The concept note for national education policy prepared by MHRD in 2014 identified as many 53 themes. So you have to answer which one is correct, which one is not. Anyway, 2 more minutes and we have to finish 17. Again, we have already discussed about Swayam Prabha, right? 32 channel, launched by who? Ministry of Human, right? MHRD. And again, so the answer simple is what? I didn't see the answer in the chat box, but we'll just move because we don't have much time. So statement 1 is correct, but the statement second is incorrect. And let me tell you why it's incorrect also. So why the second one is incorrect? Because the concept of national education policy was prepared by Ministry of MHRD in 2016, not in 14. So through that we can answer. So the NEP identified and addressed various three themes of areas, 53 themes that we talked. It is true, but not the date. It is by 2016. So I hope 16 question clear. And question number 17 is in your screen. Again, it's talking about curriculum evaluation. Consider three primary sources of curriculum: students, society, subject matter, reflecting the philosophy of education and psychology of learning. You have to answer. It is Scriven's model, Stakes model, Tyler's model, or CIPP model. Write in the chat box quickly what do you think. Meanwhile, I'm going to just explain about it. I'll just start with other option, CIPP model, which is like context, input, process, product model. So the CIPP model developed by Daniel Stubbin, remember the name, focus on evaluating various aspects of the curriculum. It considers the context, environment, sources and material, which is input, and of course teaching and learning is the process. So they, according to them, that context is what? The environment, and input is what? Resource or material, and the process is learning, and at the end the outcome is the product. So the evaluation aimed to improve the curriculum by examining each of these dimensions and making informed decisions. Remember, all these explanation you'll get at the end of the test. So make sure you subscribe right now, don't wait. And if you have already subscribed, you can just ignore. You can just find it in your Google Classroom. So anyway, again, we'll just talk about a stakes model now, and this is the moral. This model proposed by Robert Stake emphasizes the importance of understanding and stakeholders' perspective, and it incorporates what their input in the evaluation process. So again, at the end we have Scriven's model, and Scriven's model is by Michael Scrivens, and it is also a evaluation model, emphasize the systematic assessment of curriculum, objective and outcome. But here we are talking about who, and the answer is simple, the Tyler's model. And I'll just explain about Tyler's model now. That it was developed by, first you should remember the name, Ralph W. Tyler, and again it is a very influential figure in curriculum, syllabus development and evaluation. So the model is based on the fundamental principle that curriculum should be designed and evaluated according to specific education objectives. So Tyler's model is commonly referred as, simple you should remember, objective centered model, or the Tylerian model. So other name if they ask in the exam, like objective centered model is developed by who, and you should answer the Tyler's. Who's Tyler? Full name is Ralph W. Tyler. And the key component of Tyler's model simply is the identification of education objective, the first point, and the second is selection of appropriate assessment measure, and the third is development of assessment instrument, and data collection and analysis, and the last is utilization of evaluation and result. Great. Question number 17 is complete. Now we can just move quickly to the question number 18. Again it is talking about two statement, and this time they are talking about LMS. LMS is something that a virtual environment for teacher and a student. LMS can be used for blended learning as well as for online. Tell me the answer quickly in the chat box. Meanwhile, I'm just going to explain what is LMS. So LMS is like a software, no? So when you whatever you are getting in Google Classroom, right? So that has the learning management system. So every single thing are properly managed. So all the learning content or a curriculum or the syllabus or mock test, whatever we have arranged in Google Classroom, that is your LMS. LMS, the software is called LMS. So these that allows for the management of delivery, tracking educational courses. So what happened in LMS? You have already enrolled in our Canvas classroom, right? So there what we give different content. We have videos, we also announce messages, what we do. Also we have mock tests, and also we evaluate, we give you grades. It also happens in Google Classroom also. So these are the example of learning management system, and for that it is right for teachers and students, correct? So the first statement is definitely correct, and the second statement says that blended learning as well as for online learning, and that is correct. Why? Because LMS can be, because sometimes student can learn in their classroom, and they can also access that all the things in online also in their LMS. Maybe they can use it for quizzes and all online quizzes and whatever happens, right? So blended learning refers to combination of in person and online learning, where LMS can facilitate the online component, while online learning refers to fully online courses or programs. So anyway, the question number 18 is clear, and I see so many of you answered correctly. So we'll just move to the next question quickly, and it is about, again, we have to match the following. We have the options given below. We have to select which. Again, they are talking about test reliability and the description. I'm just going to explain about them, and you have to answer meanwhile in the chat box. So question number 19 is about test reliability, and what is the answer for it? You have to write in the chat box. I'll just write I'll just explain it. So first I'll explain about test and retest. So it's like when we give you a test, and over a period of time I'm just giving you the same test, because you are not learning from that test. So I have to repeat the same thing, so you learn. So what happens simply, it is the test over a period of time repeated, correct? And again, inter-rater, and inter-rater is something what we do, like the same test is conducted by different raters. And parallel form, C option, it is provide different version of questionnaire which are equivalent for respondent. And a split half is something like delivering a questionnaire in 2 or more parts separately to a sample group. So that is your split half. I hope you answered correctly, and I see option also. Anyway, so that is your answer. What is your answer? Let me see in the chat. I see. So anyway, A is 4, which is, I think, in below. You are not able to see it. It is the fourth option you are not able to see, so just imagine that is the correct one. Anyway, I'll just fix this thing. We have question number last here. We are just going to discuss, again, it is about assessment, and it is asking done by giving grades, mark, credit to the student. What it is? Formative, summative, integrative, diagnostic. Easy, right? It won't even take you a second to answer. So quickly write in the chat box, what do you understand by that? Again, they are talking about grades, marks and credit. Simple, you'll just move to summative, right? Formative was whatever happened during the class is your formative. Diagnostic is what we do during the class to see what weakness particular student or the group of a student or even the class has, and when we find that weakness, we improve that. So how do we find it? Through diagnostic test. So here they are talking about grades, mark and credit, which is summative, because which happen at the end. Question number 21. Let's do one more. We have already discussed about 6 level of hierarchy, right, in our teaching theory, which was what? Easy for you guys, easy peasy. Anyway, so remember, we have talked about 6 level of hierarchy, starting from where it starts from the knowledge and ends with evaluation. So first and last you should remember, and the middle is what? We created a code for it, right? KC 2AASE, right? So K stands for knowledge, comprehensive stands for K stands for knowledge, C stands for comprehension. Comprehension is what? Understanding and interpreting information, and knowledge is what? Recall, recognition of the facts and information. Application is what we apply knowledge or whatever the skills we have to solve a particular problem, right? So analysis is like we break down the information or the topic or the idea, or what we do, we understand the relationship between them. And the synthesis is like creating something new by combining all the elements, right? And at the end, what we evaluate, making judgment assessment based on the criteria and evidence. So that is your question number 21. The rest we'll do tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll do 30, and I'll just post this link in your WhatsApp group. Good that you all were here. So anyway, we'll just close this section because we don't have time for it. The class was meant for 1 hour, but we have already exceeded that. But no problem, you must have learned quite a lot of things, right? So see you tomorrow. Bye bye, have a good day. And one more question, I just want to tell who is going to win IPL. Is it Mumbai Indians, Chennai Super Kings, Gujarat Titans? Write in the chat box quickly, and then we'll end the class. Anyway, bye bye, have a good day, the rest of the day. Anyway, bye bye.